Is real estate on sale? How do builders feel about the market? That and so much more on This Week in Real Estate. Welcome back. My name is Chris Cox, and I am a licensed North Carolina real estate broker as well as a licensed mortgage loan originator. And what does that mean is that I get to help people buy, sell, and invest in real estate on a daily basis. And I am so blessed to get that, to be able to get to do that on a daily basis. So just a quick little plug here before we dive into this week's stats. I am going to be hosting a first-time homebuyer seminar for my Raleigh area homebuyers. It's going to be online. It is absolutely free. It is going to be on December 11th at 7 p.m. We'll run about an hour. There will be a link to sign up in the description of this episode. So let's dive right into this week's headlines as we get started. Let's see what we got going on for the week of November 22nd, 2024. So as we roll into the week, not a big week as far as any huge news going on, but some data did come out that I do want to talk about. So we're going to talk about new construction first. We got the report out from the National Association of Home Builders this week on kind of how they're feeling with what the market is doing. As many of you who have been following the real estate market may know, kind of the real estate tends to follow the trends of what's happening in new construction. So the numbers came out for the National Association of Home Builders for this month. Well, that combined with the U.S. Census data, and we are showing that home construction, new housing units started in the United States is at an annual pace of about 970,000. We need that ideally to be around a million, a little over a million units plus per year to kind of keep up with the needs of the supply, the demand needs of the market out there. And we are still at drastically reduced number of supply available out there because of what happened during the Great Recession. So overall, builder sentiment, they have positive outlook on the market. They are expecting with the new administration that is coming in to see a reduction in some of the regulatory concerns that they have there that are driving up some of those costs. However, they are a little less optimistic from the end. They are concerned about the labor shortage that is out there overall, limitation on buildable lots. They're not making any more dirt, as they tend to say out there. So those two things are really kind of tempering some of that optimism of builders because of those increased costs that come along with labor shortages and buildable lots are becoming more expensive. So new construction, that leads me into kind of the next headline section here, and that is real estate on sale? So in that same report from the National Association of Home Builders, they mentioned that 60% of current new builders out there are offering some form of incentive. And I did some local research here in the Triangle. I put together a list of 51 subdivisions that are currently being built in the Wake County area. And some of those incentives are crazy right now. There is one in Garner, North Carolina that is currently offering $30,000 in builder incentives if you use their preferred lender and their preferred closing attorney. So if you are in a position to make a move on real estate between now and the end of the year to put something under contract, could be really beneficial for you from some of the savings that you will get. Now, resale houses, we saw about roughly 39% of listings have shown a price reduction in the last 30 days, or had some kind of price reduction in the month of October. That is, that is a little below the trends of the last couple years. However, it is still significantly higher than what we saw in the spring of 2022, kind of that low mark where we're seeing here, where only like 15% of houses saw a price reduction. And it went up a lot higher in 2022 as the market started to change a little bit and sellers just couldn't get what they were asking for. Now, I do want to note, this does not mean that the housing market overall is dropping, because we do not have indication of that. What this statistic is an indicator of, to me, in my opinion, is that This is an indicator of sellers who maybe shot a little high. They're still thinking that 22, 23 pricing is out there. So they started there and then were forced to reduce to kind of get to where the market actually is right now. So that's just, again, another data point that we look at to kind of see what the market is doing. Now, the third headline for this week is a report came out from Clever Real Estate. They surveyed 1,000 recent home sellers who sold their houses within the last 4 years. They did this survey back at the beginning of October. They surveyed 1,000 home sellers just to get their sentiments on kind of what they would do differently maybe the next time they sold the house. And here's what I felt was one of the key data charts from that survey was that this question was, which ways of selling would you recommend to a friend or family? So, this is, hey, I just sold my house. I'm talking to my friend and family. What would you recommend I do? And 83% of those people surveyed said they would still hire or recommend hiring a real estate agent. This is interesting to me because, if you've been following the real estate industry, there have been lots of different models that have come out of some of the changes within the industry, including iBuyers, for sale by owners have always been there. We talked a little bit about that last week where that has dropped a little bit based on the National Association of Realtors home buyer and home seller survey that they release annually. But 83% of people surveyed still say they would use or recommend a real estate agent to sell their house. So, with all the changes in the industry, it's good to see that some people still see value in what it is that we do as real estate agents. So those are the headlines for this week. Let's head into the numbers nationally, and then we'll take a look at what's going on locally. So from a national perspective, active inventory really unchanged from the week before, less than 0.01% with a current active inventory, according to Housing Wire's weekly report that comes out every Monday, 722,032 active listings, slightly kind of pretty much the same, however, significantly up from the same week year over year. And yet for perspective, still significantly lower than the about 1.5 million that we saw in 2015 as kind of that average active inventory out there. So steady as far as the active listings. Let's take a look at the number of new listings. So number of new listings was up to 51,832, up about 6.5% over the previous year, same week the previous year, and then up a little bit more than 2022, where there was 47,000-ish new listings the same week in 2022. Now let's look at pending statistics, so it's kind of what has actually gone under contract. So we're up about 9.6% over the same week last year at 333,177. Again, slightly high, up significantly higher than the year before, and in between where 2022 was. So still up over 2022, but not as high up as it was last year. So those are the national statistics. I also like to kind of break down what's going on in my neck of the woods. So let's take a look at Western Wake County, which is made up of Apex, Cary, Holly Springs, and Morrisville, North Carolina. This week, again, kind of in line with the national numbers here, relatively level with 679 active listings in those 4 towns. This same week last year, we are up from 582, however, significantly lower than where we were just a month and a half ago, where we saw almost 725 housing opportunities as far as available listings out there. So let's take a look at the next statistic is the number of new listings. So the number of new listings did jump for the week ending November 16th, jumped from 57 to 71. Pretty significant increase there. However, still below where we were in 2023 in the same week, and at 50% of a level of where we were in which I would expect in the spring market there in mid-May, where 140 new listings went on the market. So overall, new listings, active inventory pretty level the last couple weeks, but up over the year. Now let's take a look at the houses that have new pending sales. So these are houses that went under contract within the last week. So we saw 68 go under contract last week, which was up from the previous week. However, down about 20% from the same week the year before, and significantly lower again than what I would expect in the spring market, where in April we saw 117. That's the 52-week high. So that's kind of a snapshot look at what's going on in the local market as well. And to finish off this week, what I like to kind of finish off every week's week in real estate with is just what is the mortgage market doing, and what is some of the, take a look at the 10-year treasury bond to see what that is doing, because that is usually the best indicator of where mortgage rates are going. So finish off this week's statistics and this week's in real estate with our mortgage minute. Again, this remained pretty much stable here. We didn't see much up or down. There were no crazy spikes or drops this week. It went up, maybe 0.02. It went up 0.02 over the course of the week, but really never any significant drastic changes day to day. We are up over the same week a year ago in a 52-week low of 6.11 and a 52-week high of 7.52. So bad news is that rates are still high. Good news is we didn't see the volatility that we've seen here over the past month and a half, where they were spiking up and down on a daily basis. So stability will be good there. I'd like to see it stably dropping for everybody who's looking to get into the housing market right now. And let's take a look at the 10-year treasury. We get these sources. I take a daily look at CNBC to see what the 10-year treasury bill is doing, bond is doing out there. And again, as kind of in line with the mortgage rates here, pretty stable, not too much, just 0.02% difference on that. Same exact number as a year ago. So even though we've had those crazy ups and downs over the course of the past year, it has remained pretty steady over the course of the long haul, with a drop of to the lowest point of 3.64, which was in mid-October of this year, or mid-September of this year, where we saw then rates drop kind of ahead of that, or right along with that, mortgage rates. And then we saw a 52-week high of 4.71. So we're kind of right in the middle of the highs and the low there for the last year. But that is a look at what is going on in this week in real estate. Hope you're enjoying the content that we have here. Didn't have a rant that was going on. There was nothing that was really grinding my gears for this week. Next week, if you're following along, I am going to be doing a little bit of a partner spotlight. I'm going to be talking to one of my mortgage partners with One Real Mortgage, and we're going to break down 3 separate videos in addition to what we'll highlight here on the Week in Real Estate. We're going to be talking about some of the great programs that are out there for down payment assistance. So make sure you are giving us a subscribe here so that you can make sure that you're not missing any of the content that we're putting out. But thank you so much for watching. Have a great week, and we'll see you next week for our Thanksgiving edition of the Week in Real Estate. Bye-bye.